Cool guys, in this video, I'm going to be speedrunning an entire coaching business. So all of those guys you see on the internet teaching Amazon FBA, e-commerce, dropshipping, SMMA, all these different business models, they usually have a sales funnel. It's like usually a two-step funnel. You give them their name, email address, phone number. That goes into a second page. They have a video sales letter, and you can book in a call for their one-to-one mentorship, right? You guys probably know what I'm talking about. In this video, I'm going to be teaching guys how you can build that for yourself in case, you guys have expertise in any of these business models and you want to start teaching that to other people, or maybe you're even just curious. So let me just start the timer, and I'm literally just going to be going step by step on how you can build the entire thing out. Cool. So first, I decided to make this pretty fun, and I actually took a little bit of a mystery wheel to pick a model. So let's see what model that we're going to be building this for. Cool. So looks like we're going to be doing a YouTube automation one, and these are just kind of the main niches. So this is cool. We're going to be doing something for YouTube automation. And just to show you guys that I've done this before, me myself, like I have my own offer. I've done 6 figures for my offer in cash collected, profit, whatever you want to call it. I've also done 7 figures for my clients who I'd built offers for, and obviously like I've done a lot of different breakdowns, even on this channel alone. So in this video, we're going to be following this. This took me around 7 days to create, and I created a step-by-step roadmap on exactly what I need to do to actually build a coaching business. And in this video, we're just going to be executing on it. So just to kind of give you guys a roadmap, I'll do like a little bit of a 30-second rundown. First, we're going to be creating a bunch of content, figuring out how we can optimize it so we can actually get traffic. Because obviously, like if nobody knows what we're selling, how are we supposed to sell something that people don't even know exists? Then we're going to be doing market research, getting a little bit more, research on the YouTube automation niche, then building out an offer, creating a product, building a funnel, preparing the launch, building the sales process. So after people book a call, what goes on? If people don't show up to the call, what goes on after that? And then obviously, getting spreadsheets to track everything. Then we're going to be creating a really good onboarding process. We're going to be getting really good fulfillment. So what would that look like? And then looking into ad creatives and how we can start building that. Cool. And usually when I do this for my clients, I like to do a lot from scratch. But for the sake of this video, because we're not going to have that much time, I don't want to make this a 10-hour long video. I'm going to be using AI, and specifically Claude. You guys have probably heard of Claude before, but I have some really good prompts. I paid $500 for these prompts, and they're really, really good. And you guys are obviously getting them for free. So these are like really in detail prompts, and I'm going to be showing you guys exactly how you can use them. So first things first, let me actually just open up a new Miro board, and this is already named YouTube video speedrunning, and I'll be putting everything into here. So step one, following the process, is we need to optimize our content, and pretty simple stuff. Let me create a note, and we're going to just say content here, and then actually zoom in. I'm going to say YouTube automation, and that's going to be good for now. So I'm going to keep that as our title. Now we need to figure out how we actually want to post content. So I'm just going to go on YouTube, and I'm going to show you exactly how we should be doing this. But let me just give you guys some examples. So unless I see something from let's see if I can just find some videos that just instantly pop up. Let me just wait a little bit. See if I can find something from the start. I know this guy does these kinds of videos. So even this speedrunning video, I got the idea.
Living, breathing.
But like these really, really raw and authentic videos, I'm sure you guys have seen them before. I can give you like another example. It's actually one of my clients. We're doing around $55,000 a month for him in profit. And, again, like really simple videos. And they're all, how do I kind of call it? Like they're all really raw and authentic. Like, you go to the video.
Hello.
And
What's your name?
well, this is an ad. Let me just watch the ad real quick. Cool. And they're really, really simple, just funnel breakdown videos, exactly how this is right here. And they get tons of leads. So let's get straight into it. Now, first, we need to find a little bit of inspiration. But before we actually do that, let me break down what it takes to actually, build something like this out. So first off, one of the most important things is that, let me just remove this bold text. One of the most important things is that we stay really raw and authentic. So let me stretch this out. This is the most important thing. We're staying raw and authentic. Lower case titles, simple thumbnails, no video editor. What else do we need? Long videos. So usually you're gonna want to do 20 plus. Where's my plus? Minutes. And another thing that I would say is just not overcomplicating stuff. Keeping it extremely simple. Cool. Now, let me actually just go ahead and find some examples. And then while I'm finding these examples, I might get a few other ideas pop up. So just for this specifically, I would even, let's say I find another video like this. This would be a good example. So I know that this title's also been popping off. So that's even if I just take this, and obviously we're going to YouTube automations. So let's say with YouTube Shorts, obviously just to match our niche to see if we can find any, good competitors. Just copy me. Let's see. So first, this guy.
How did I make over 3?
Cool. This is good. So let me just copy this link. Keep this here. I'm gonna keep this channel. I wanna find a few guys first before I actually go a little bit deeper into the analysis. With one faces channel, just copy me. YouTube automation. This looks good. 50k views 1 month ago. Very good stuff. Very, very good stuff. Then we can just go back here again. Let's see. This guy seems like he's doing okay. Because we really this is the most important part, right? If nobody knows what you're selling, how are they supposed to buy something that they don't even know exists? All comes down to that. Cool. Another title that I've been seeing do pretty well is this. Here's how I made, and then let's just say $100,000 with YouTube automation. And let's see if we can find anyone specific, because the really important thing here is just to find someone good, right? Look, okay, so for example, this guy, I've seen this guy before. This guy also does YouTube automation, and he's crushing it right now. So obviously, you guys can see his videos. He's pretty consistent with it. I mean, not anymore, but he was consistent with it at least, and really good numbers. So 2.8K, 2.4K, 3.4K, 5.5K, etc., etc., etc. Let's see what he peaked at. So 40K 2 months ago. But yeah, this is also a really good example. So I would say this would be a perfect example. This guy, let's just go into his channel, see what his other videos look like. Let me just subscribe to him. This is also a really good example. And then with this guy right here, let's just go into his channel. This is actually a really good example too. Okay, this is actually a proper example. Okay, this is good. Because right now, with the meta that we're in, 3 days ago, 8.8k views, those are some pretty good numbers. Cool. So let's just find one video from each of these channels and figure out which one we want to take as inspiration, because we just want to get some inspiration first. So with this guy, let's find something that's under 2 weeks ago, and let's find the best performer from 2 weeks ago or less, because it's all about trends with these micro niche YouTube channels. So 2 weeks ago, let's even go up to 4 weeks ago, 3.9, 3.6, 4.4. Let's see which one's performing pretty well. So this one's doing pretty well. 5.5k. This is cool. New update. That's it's giving them a little bit of FOMO. Definitely very good stuff. So let's just take this, copy that in. What's the next one? Find something from this guy. So let's say this guy, he's a little bit more consistent. Let's say 2 weeks ago. Oh, the only a. Okay, this is perfect. Perfect stuff. 11 days ago, 32k views. Let's just take this as well. And by the way, guys, it's not always about the views, but when you go into the content and it's so micro niched, then it becomes about the views, because like these guys, they're not going broad. Like I know the argument that a lot of people make is, these guys that they get 1 million views, their content is just way too broad. But when you go to guys like this, I can tell you for a fact that this is not broad content. It's 18 minutes and he's literally just talking about YouTube channels. Like, this is the least broad thing that's getting 32,000 views, which is insane. Right, let's actually just take a look at his funnel because maybe we can keep this for future reference. Okay, let's keep this for future reference because, he seems to be doing pretty well. Cool. So we have one video from him, and let's find one video from this guy. And this guy's just doing this is literally perfect. 3 days ago. Oh, what did I just do? Let me just get this. 3 days ago, 8.8k views. Perfect. Oh, wrong one. There we go. So let me just take both of these, decrease the size. Keep everything organized here. And cool, in the first 10 minutes, we already kind of know what we want to do with the long form strategy, which is very good. Very good stuff. Cool. So now we don't just want long form. We want to be actually taking advantage of this and also creating short form content. Going back to the game plan, we have the long form content. We're going to be posting top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel content, right? But we also want to be repurposing on Instagram because Instagram is a really good platform when it comes to specific features. There's two main specific features. Obviously, people can message you, which people can't do in YouTube. But obviously, there's also story sequences, which is a massive thing that I'm really big on. And it's pretty much just posting a series of stories which convert followers. And I'm going to get into that in just a second. Cool. So in terms of Instagram, I don't want to post specific content here because I don't want to waste too much of our time. But what we can do if we're already posting YouTube content is a clipping process. So what would that look like? Let me just put that here. Clipping process. Well, obviously this isn't going to be the cheapest method, but if you just want to find someone quickly, you can get someone pretty solid on Fiverr. And what you want to aim for is around $5 clips. Let's say clip a short form, and exactly perfect. So most of these guys are charging €5 per clip. This guy's at 10. This looks a little bit more edited, but we really just want simple stuff. So we just want to figure out if we can get the simple stuff done. Short form video clipper. Let's see what this is. He's affiliated with, he's with what? But this looks good. This is exactly what we're looking for. So really simple stuff. Now we have €4.56 per clip. So I know a lot of American people are going to be watching this. So what would that be in USD? So we're at $5.20, but we can definitely get this price down when we're actually getting more. So what I would probably average this out on is $4 per clip, $4 per clip, and then per month, let's say we're taking 30 clips, it'd be $120 per month, which is very affordable. Cool. And then let me just take this as a screenshot so I can keep this in mind. Cool. Keeping it very, very short and easy. And then let me actually just also just create a small sticky note with the link to this so I can find this guy when I need to. Cool. So I'd say with this, we have a really good fundamentals built out. And the way that it would work is we would just take this and then we would clip it into short form content. So actually, let me connect this right here. And I'd say this gives us a really good fundamentals in terms of what it looks like in terms of the actual content itself. We really just need to keep it simple. Real and authentic videos, lowercase titles, simple thumbnails, so no video editors, long form videos, so 20 minutes plus. And we need to keep it extremely simple, just following these guys. Now, let me actually just make this entire thing bigger because I can barely zoom in. Cool. So yeah, just videos like this, we're copying this, we have the strategy outlined. And now that we know what we want to do in terms of the actual content itself, we need to move on to the next step, which is the market research. Cool. And let me just make this a slightly different color. Let me just make this a little bit darker. Cool. So in terms of market research, let me just go here. copy this, and I'll say the exact same thing. So market research. For this, we're probably going to need a Google Doc just because I don't want to do this on Miro. It's going to get a little bit messy. So then we'll just put the Google Doc onto Miro later on. Let me just actually rebrand this doc to market research test YouTube video. Cool. And if I had no idea about the niche, which obviously if you're creating content about this niche, you should have a good understanding of it. But then I would probably go to some of the competitors and watch the content and see how they're doing it. So for example, here, what we could add to the content strategy as well, let me just go back here, skip the ad, is the way that he's structuring it is that's all on a Google Doc. You could watch the entire thing if you want to for the first time, but you can also just look at the structure and be like, okay, this guy has a Google Doc, so you can literally even just take a picture of this, go back to your Miro, breaking everything down, and then inside of the video structure, just create this as a full new section. So the way that he's doing it is, he might be creating this Google Doc for a little bit, and the way that he wants to structure it is Google Doc with bullet points. Let me just zoom out, make sure that this is good. And then what we're doing inside of the content, or what he's doing, what we just saw, is regularly showing examples and going deeper on those bullet points. Cool. So I can just add this as a side note here as well, and then that should be good. But in terms of market research, we want to keep it extremely simple. So first off, just for your own research, watch some of the videos, look at the competitors and see what they're doing. But after that, we can actually use one of the prompts, which I'm about to show you with Claude. But for some reason, I just take this all off. So let's get started with the actual market research itself. Now, the way that it's going to look like is we're going to go to where's market research. Here we go. So we're going to just copy both of these prompts right here. And it's just going to look like this. So why am I putting this into here? It's going to go into here. So I want you to do some market research for me. I'm selling now we're going to put the product description. So 1-to-1 mentorship for people looking to get into the YouTube automation space and build YouTube shorts channels which can consistently generate them 3 to 8K per month. And that's it. And I want you to find all the possible customer avatars and train them people. And then what I'm going to note, because obviously I knew this myself, customers will be between the age of 15 and 22. And this is, you just kind of need to use your market. You kind of just need to use your common sense here. Like if you're watching content like this, realistically, there's not going to be anyone above the age of 30 watching this kind of content, because it's just YouTube shorts. There could be some people, but the majority of the people would probably, let's say between 15 and 22. So let's just take that and tell them already. And what else could we tell them? I think that should be good for now. So let's just put this prompt in and let it do its magic. So we're going to get all of these different avatars. So we have college student, side hustler, 19 to 22 years old, is in university, college, limited to studies, giving them guidance, cool. 17 to 22 years old, business-minded, one-on-one approach, creative high schooler, so someone who's in high school, gap year taker, the early career shifter, so between 20 and 22 years old, dissatisfied with their job, they want to shift their career, social media native, so someone between 15 and 22, already active with social media, those platforms struggles with monetizations, and then how it's going to help them. It's always going to be the same stuff. Cool. So now we want to take the second prompt, and the second prompt is also fairly simple, and it's going to work. Now that you have the customer avatars, answer all the questions about them in detail and simple language. Cool. So here we're just kind of going to be going over the goals and dreams, fears and insecurities, embarrassing situations that they want to avoid, how the product helps them achieve their, goals, why the product is the best option, like why us, what alternative solutions they have used and why, and why they should take us instead of the competitors, and who is to blame for their problems. Cool. So let's just put that in there, and we can immediately, while that's just cooking up, we can paste this into our market research doc, because this is going to be fairly important. Change that with market research YouTube automation niche. Cool. So we just crossed 20 minutes and we're already on the market research, which is good. And let's just keep going here. So what does this look like? Goals and dreams, financial independence from parents studying, passive income, practical business skills, flexibility, resume with entrepreneurship. Cool. Fearful falling behind in academics, worried about wasting time on ventures that don't pay off, insecurity experience, anxiety about disappointing parents, being unable to activities, having to constantly ask parents for money, graduating massive debts, working low jobs, being pursued. How does mentorship help them achieve their goals? So your mentorship be structured, income generating YouTube shows. Let's see, 3 to 8K monthly, cool. You just want to redo all of this to make sure that this actually makes sense. And market research, no one's actually going to be seeing this on the front end. Like no one's actually going to be reading this, but this is just for yourself to get a better understanding and for the future AI prompts and just to build that conversation history for when you're asking for the VSL and stuff like that. Cool. So what is the product, the best option? And schedule, cool. Having them with academics as well. What have they already used? Free tutorials, general entrepreneurship, campus entrepreneurship, big economy jobs, entrepreneurship, that cool. Why would they choose instead of competitors? Low upfront investment, competitors, specific market students, program affiliated with the university. Cool. This probably wouldn't be that good of an idea. Solutions promising fast results, even if unrealistic. Platforms that seem less technically than YouTube. Who, what is to blame? Rising education costs, traditional education system, job market being demanding, social media pressure, limited financial education. Cool. And I mean, obviously, like we don't want to go over all of this. This is mainly to build the chat history, but you guys kind of get the point. Like the goal of the market research, especially when you're doing it with AI, is just to build the chat history for, the AI bots to actually get a better understanding. And obviously, when I'm doing this for my clients, which by the way, if you're someone in one of these industries, if you're selling a business opportunity offer, so SMMA, drop shipping, e-commerce, freelance brand scaling, growth operating, all these kinds of different big niches. If you want help monetizing your audience, then you can book a call with me, first link in the description, and I can actually help you build all of this out if you don't have the time to do it yourself. Or if you want to start building this, let's say you have an income that's over $10,000 per month in profit and you don't have an audience yet, but you need help starting to build a coaching offer and you want to get it to $20,000 a month in the next 120 days, you can also book a call with me, first link in the description, if you don't have the time to do all of this. And by the way, when I work with my clients, I don't do it with AI. The AI is going to be 60% as good as what I'm going to do, but it's a really good foundation and you can do it really quickly, which is why I'm showing you guys this example. So this is a really good foundation and you also want to copy this. We want to keep all of this organized inside of our Google Doc. Cool. So once we have the market research, this is most of the market research. So using the AI, watching the content, going over some blogs, and that's pretty much it. You don't need to go too deep if your offer isn't as big yet. If your offer is a little bit bigger and you already have an audience, then you want to book a calls with people inside of your audience, ask them questions, and it'd be the exact same questions, right? So you'd still be asking them, going back to the AI prompts, what their goals and dreams are, fears and insecurities, embarrassing situations. And of course, like a lot of people are going to be like, why can't I just use a type form? But why can't I just use a Google form? And a lot of people do use a Google form as well. But what I like to do is I like to get on calls with people from the creators audience that I work with. And then you can just go a lot deeper on, let's say, their fears and insecurities. And then they say something and you could be like, well, why is that a viewer insecurity, right? And you can just go a lot deeper on anything. So if you have a small audience or no audience at all, just use AI. If you have a fairly large audience, I would use a Google form, and then with the good responses, I would try to book a call with them and go even deeper on everything, make notes, put it all into a Google Doc, and kind of have that as the initial research. Cool. So that should be good enough. Let me see if I can actually share this. I'm pretty sure that I'm able to put this in. Yeah. Just wait for it to load. Connect. Let's see. Curious if this would work. That could be a cool feature. Okay, well, nonetheless, I've got this here. So if I want to go over it, I'm going to have that ready. Cool. Next step of the process is going to be, we've built out the market research. Oh, my Wi-Fi has just been a little bit slow. Cool. So we built out the market research. Now we need to build the actual offer itself. So offer creation. Let's say the exact same thing down here. Oh, and we can actually do this inside of this doc right here. Cool. So we can go back here. Let me see if there's an AI prompt. Otherwise, I can just do this myself. That would be pretty cool if there is an offer creation doc. Cool. Competitor, nothing standard, odd text, headlines, market research, email flows, via sales, offer creation. Cool. So there's no offer creation one, which is fine. I can kind of just run through this myself. So the way that it's usually going to work, and we can kind of just fill this out ourselves too, but an offer consists of 5 different things, and this is simple stuff from Alex Hormozi's $100 million offer. So quantifiable end result, the final result or transformation that the offer has to be quantifiable, the progress that leads to a final outcome should be easy to track, time frame, so people buy speed, business results. The time frame to achieve the outcome is one of the main things that people are looking for. Then risk reversal, so taking away all of the risk, and this is where we're making the offer look too good to not to buy. So for example, you don't pay or work with you until you do. Then niche, you need to be really specific with who you're selling to. So you need to know like the specific people and its quality over quantity here, and then unique mechanism. For example, really good example with Breast Scales, he was really just doing a glorified social media marketing agency just for clothing brands, but he rebranded it to freelance brand scaling. Even though freelance brand scaling really isn't like an actual thing, he just made that his own unique mechanism. So this is why they should choose you instead of everyone else, which is pretty much what makes you unique. So for example, everybody else was doing a social media marketing agency. People got bored of that, and then Breast Scales came into the market, and he was like, let me actually build out a freelance brand scaling agency. So that's kind of what just makes you unique. Let me just copy this into here because this is extremely important, and I know that this is going to help a lot of you guys. So I just want to keep this as a main thing. Cool. That's cool. And then to actually put all of that together, what it's actually going to look like is the offer statement, right? So this is the actual offer itself, and let's just build this out. So paste this into here. Cool. So I help, let's just say with this niche, most of the people are going to be beginners. So let's just be straight up with them. Tell them it's beginners. Go find a result. Let's say get to 3 to 8K per month with YouTube automation, and then within time frame, let's say 90 days, using the unique mechanism. What I would say in terms of unique mechanism is I've been hearing a lot of people speak about flywheel, so it's just kind of a little bit of a buzzword, but let's put that into here. So flywheel, and as a unique mechanism, we can call it the YouTube let's just say flywheel automations, something like that. So flywheel automations, that sounds pretty cool. Kind of just made that up on the spot. But what you can also do if you can't, like, let's say for example, you think of flywheels automations, but you don't like it, you can just take this, copy and paste this, put it into Claude, and say, give me 10 better names of unique mechanisms. Just wait for it to cook. Momentum matrix, velocity ventures, perpetual pipeline, cascade creator, Connecticut. These, I don't really like these. I would say make them easier to understand for the average person, because obviously we're going for beginners. Cool. Not like people who've been in content. So content engine, auto grow, easy channel, income streams a little bit way too vague. Video autopilot, shorts machine, revenue runner. So you get it. Like, it can build out some decent unique mechanisms. Obviously it's not going to be the best, but it is going to be better than 99% of the stuff. And once in a while, like if you do this for, let's say, 5 to 10 minutes, you're going to get some really, really good ones. But obviously I don't want to keep you guys waiting. So I think flywheel automations is pretty good. So 90 days using flywheel, let's say YouTube flywheel automations. So obviously what you want to keep it on track. Flywheel automations without pain points. So let's say without, well, here would have to go back into the market research. So let me just open this up and see what their pain points are. Alternative solutions, how they're used. Goals and dreams, fears and insecurities. Worrying about business experience. This is going to be the biggest thing for beginners. So let's say without any prior business experience, and then we want the risk reversal. So I help beginners get to 3 to 8K a month with YouTube automation in 90 days using YouTube flywheel automations. That we may be repeating ourselves a little bit too much. So let's say I help beginners get to 3 to 8K a month in 90 days using YouTube flywheel automations without any prior business experience, or I'll keep working with them until they do. So I help beginners get to 38K a month in 90 days using YouTube flywheel automations without any prior business experience, or I'll keep working with them until they do. This is going to be decent. Obviously it's not going to be the best offer that I could create, but it's going to be better than most people. So I would stick with this. Cool. So now that we have the actual offer statement and we have the unique mechanism, there's something really important that I want you to understand about the unique mechanism. I'm just going to go over this right now. So let's just go here and then speak about carrots. I know this may seem a little bit off topic, but this is the most important thing within the content and within your offer. So the way that consumers work, especially in B2C, which is business to customers, so first time customers, people with not that much business experience, is you want to keep it the same stuff, right? So for example, with Brez, let's just say this is Brez, right? And he's speaking about freelance brand scaling. So he's giving them the carrot, right? So let me just create a small carrot, another one here, another one here, and then that should be fine, right? So wait, let's actually just make this all look good. So this is a carrot, this is a carrot, this is a carrot, right? With breast scales, if you watch his vlogs, he's always bringing up freelance brand scaling, freelance brand scaling, and freelance brand scaling, which is what makes everything seem really easy to the people watching the content, and it makes them pretty much sold on his unique mechanism. But here's where a lot of people mess up. Okay. Now, let's just take Brez again. So let's copy and paste Brez. And let's say they're speaking about freelance brand scaling. So freelance brand scaling and freelance brand scaling. But in between, he somehow mentions social media marketing agency, which even though it's the exact same thing, he mentions it. So let me just draw out a tomato real quick as well. So people are used to the freelance brand scaling. Freelance brand scaling is what makes sense to them. And in between, they see a tomato. So he speaks about social media marketing agencies or something else that isn't freelance brand scaling, but it's also related to him making money on the internet. Then what's going to happen to them is this person has full clarity, right? So, it's always freelance brand scaling, it's always on topic. But this person's going to get extremely confused. And once they get confused, they're not going to buy. And they're not going to book a call. They're not going to take the next step. They're not going to opt into your funnel. They're not going to do anything. Because it goes back to like one of the number one rules in sales is a confused prospect will never buy. Right. And it all comes down to that. So if they don't understand the carrots, if you're not consistent with the carrots that you're showing them, then they're not going to buy. So it's extremely important that when we bring up the YouTube flywheel automation system, that we're consistent with it. We're not saying YouTube flywheel automation system, and in one video we're speaking about the revenue runner or channel builder. I mean, these are not good names, but just to set the example, or like some kind of growth system, or the content engines, or like the auto grow. Like it always needs to be the YouTube automation. So let me actually just copy this in a few times just to really market in your guys' head, because I know this seems like a small thing, but this is the number one thing where people just end up going wrong and they do end up making that much money. So this is the number one thing when it comes to offer creation. Once you have your offer built out and you have your unique mechanism, you need to stick to it and stay with the same carrots all of the time. Cool. So I think we have offer creation out of the way, and let me move on to the next thing, which is product creation. Product creation, we're about 36 minutes in. Creation. It's actually a pretty fun video idea. Cool. So let me just take something a little bit darker. This seems to be good. So the way that we want to do it in terms of product creation is really just not overcomplicating it. I keep losing connection on this Mario board. It's so big. It gets tricky. So in the beginning, what we want to do is there's a lot of different, products that people like to sell. We have coaching one-to-one, coaching one-to-many, inner circle, high-level course, community. We're not going to get into the hosting itself. We're just going to speak about what we could offer. So a lot of people like, speaking about these and they choose a favorite from the beginning. But what I recommend everyone to choose from the beginning is the coaching one-to-one. Now, I'm going to tell you why in a second. So let me just paste this over because this is what we're also going to be going over in this example. With coaching one-to-one, it is the best for a few reasons. Now, first off, you can take less clients on while making more money, because when you do one-to-one coaching, you can charge the most money. So let's say, for example, like you can't charge $5,000 for a course, but if you're, personally mentoring someone, you can charge $5,000 for it. So this is the number one thing. And one thing that I did forget to do while I was building the offer, or I guess this would kind of cater into the product creation, but what we're going to do here is actually figure out the price point as well right now, which is probably the most important thing. After I tell you why coaching one-to-one is the best thing to do. So first off, when you're starting out, coaching one-to-one, when you're actually working one-on-one with people, that pretty much gives them the highest success rate. So you can get good case studies very quickly, get student interviews, which is the number one thing, and it's going to build so much more trust on the sales calls. Then it's one of the things where you can charge the most money for. So this can be between 4 to 10K. You only need to work with them between 30 and 120 days. Weekly one-to-one calls. You can also do bi-weekly also text, and again, gets the best results. So the way that I've been seeing this offer be structured in the best way possible is we have this. So let me just put this here. It's going to be $4,000, and this is going to be the main offer. This is what I've really been seeing work well with YouTube kind of offers. And then we're going to have a downsell of $1,500. So we're originally going to pitch them the $4,000 installment, and if that doesn't work, then we can do the $1,500 plan. And we're also going to split this up into payment plans if they don't have the sufficient funds. So we're going to have 2 payments of 2,250, or 3 payments. I wouldn't go for more than 3 payments of, let's say, 1,000. Let's go $1,600. So that would come out to around $4,800 if my math. That would be $4,800. So 2 times payments of 2,250, or 3 times of 1,600, which obviously we're going to want to have a higher interest rate for the more installments that they take. I wouldn't take more installments than that. And for the $1,500 plan, we could do 2 installments of $800, and then 3 installments of, let's say, $650. And the way that you want to sell this is you're going to tell them on the sales call, you're going to be $4,000. You're going to say $4,000. You're not even going to tell them about the $1,500 package. And when they say, give you all these objections, you handle all their objections, you go through everything, and they're like, I can't afford it. Then you can tell them about the payment plans. 2 times 2,250, or 3 times 1,600. And if they don't want to do that because it's too much risk and they're going to have to pay the money either way, so like for whatever reason they don't want to do it, then you downsell them again onto the 1.5K package. And if they can't afford the 1.5K package still, then you can downsell them onto 2 installments of $800. And if they can't afford 2 installments of $800, you can downsell them again onto 3 installments of $650. So that's actually, I would even say, let's actually change this a little bit, because let's change this to $600, because then this would be 1,600 and this would be 1,800. So it's still, this would be 650, would be a little bit too high of an interest rate, but I'd say that would be good in terms of the actual pricing of the offer. And then in terms of the actual hosting, lots of people have been asking me what I recommend. So is it WOP or is it School? So WOP versus School. Let me actually just get a good image. Cool. So the number one thing that I recommend to people, let me just get into the right thing. I would say that currently, obviously both platforms are really good. I would say WOP definitely has the most potential out of both of them. But right now, I'm telling most people to go with School. And I know that this is going to change in 2 or 3 months. But the only reason why I tell people to go to School right now is because the UI on School is just so much easier to use and it's so much simpler. When you go into WOP, let me just load up WOP. WOP's a really good platform, and I know that in 2 or 3 months, it's definitely going to be so much better than School. But my issue with WOP is that they're literally changing the UI like every week, and it's very confusing. And every time I log onto the platform, it gets even more complicated. And I know they're going to fix everything. I know it's going to get better, but right now it's just a little bit too complicated for me. And a lot of people I've been speaking to people about this as well. They also say the exact same thing. So I'm sure in 2 or 3 months they're going to fix it. It's going to be a lot easier. But for now, I recommend School. It's so much easier to use, at least as of right now. But I know this is going to change. But if you're watching this 3 months after this video released, then go with WOP. And if you're watching this under 2 or 3 months, then go with School for now. It's a lot easier to use. I know WOP has a lot more features, but they're still working on the UI aspect of everything. Cool. So that should get that side out of the way. And then in terms of the actual communication, there's 2 platforms. So I want to keep this WOP and Discord. Oh, no, sorry. Slack, and Discord, because these are like the main two platforms which people ask me, like, should I use Slack or should I use Discord? And with Slack and Discord, I would literally just say like personal preference. Doesn't really matter too much. Slack would obviously be a little bit more professional, and Discord would be a little bit more playful. So let me just put both. This is why I really would say like both are good. There is no better option. And then in terms of this, the school, I would put school for now, guys. I know WOP's going to be a lot bigger, but for now, I have school as my number one option. Cool. So this should get most of the fulfillment questions out of the way. In terms of the actual course itself, when you're just starting out, don't worry about building a crazy course. I would just focus and sell it as an actual one-to-one coaching program where you're helping them, and then have maybe when you're starting out, if you have a really large audience, you're planning on doing a big launch, build a proper course out. But if you have a small audience, you just want proof of concept. And just like we're doing here, I would say 5 modules. No, I'd say 5 to 10 modules. If you, this is, by the way, this is if you're starting out, and that would be, these would be 20 to 20. I wouldn't say 240. Make them as long as possible, but 20 plus minutes each, so that they're getting a minimum of a little over 1.5 hours of course content, and just keep it as valuable as possible. The important thing with course content is that whenever you frequently start getting asked the same question, just make a module about it, and then you'll start stacking a really good course. I guess you could say, you could call it a course stack. I guess that's what you can kind of call it. But if you always try and make it better, that's going to be very good. People are going to notice, people are going to refer their friends. They're going to see the extra effort that you're putting in. So that's the main thing. But again, 5 to 10 modules if you're just starting out, just to have something at least. And then if you actually have something fairly big, I'd say 20 to 25 modules if you're planning on doing a fairly large launch. And if you are planning on doing a fairly large launch, book a call with me, first link in the description. I'll help you execute on it. And if you don't have an audience at all and you only want to make 5 to 10 modules, also book a call with me, because I can help you execute that on that too. So I think this is a good place to be out in terms of the product creation. We know what the pricing is going to be. So $4,000, we have installments. $1,500, we have installments. We chose coaching one-to-one to keep it as simple as possible in the beginning, get the best results possible. We're choosing school over WOP for now, with 5 to 10 modules if we're new, 10 to 25 modules if we're not new, 20 minutes each. So let's actually just put this like this, put this like this. That makes sense. And then personal preference, if you want to take Discord over Slack or Slack over Discord. Cool. So what is the next step of the process? I'm pretty sure it's funnel creation. It's completely lagged out. This is a big Mario Boots, to be honest with you guys. So it does lag out. I just had to pause my Loom real quick. But now we're actually moving on to my favorite part of the entire process, which is building the actual funnel out and creating everything. So before we actually get into this, first off, I do recommend the VSL funnel. So I'm just gonna say that to preference that. Let me actually just move myself back here. It's a good place to be out, and let me move this away so that I have more screen to use, because it's already pretty small. So I recommend the VSL funnel. So before we actually start building out the landing page and all that kind of stuff, which I absolutely love doing, I need to build the actual, or script the actual VSL first. So let me go back into here, and we're going to do this with AI. So, went not deep enough. Let me go here. Cool. And then say, what's going on? wait, I probably look so stupid doing this. Okay, let's just say VSL creation. Let's not worry about all that kind of stuff. So let's take this, boom, make this bigger, make this bigger. Cool, this is good. And then let's remove this from here. And now it's messing everything up again. Cool, so VSL creation took us long enough to create this actual Google page right here. But yeah, we're gonna go back to our AI prompts again. When I do this for my clients, I want to emphasize this. Don't take this as an example. If you have a really big funnel that you're building out with a massive audience, I wouldn't recommend heavily using AI. I'd still use it for some ideation, but this is really just to show you guys how to do it and get 60% of the final product done, because this is still going to be really good and a lot better than most people's VSL. So let's actually just take this prompt right here and see what it says. Pretend to be the greatest direct product. Yes, they just try to copy it here again. But yeah, let's just take this AI prompt, and this is going to be, I'm telling you guys, a lot better than most of the VSLs that you see. Like, AI is getting really, really good. But I just don't want you guys to think that I'm just using AI for all of my clients. So cool. So pretend to be the greatest direct response copywriter ever. You have over $100 million in sales copy and your ability. You have memorized the book Breakthrough Advertising and have studied Eugene Schwartz, Joe Sugarman. Cool. Write me a direct VSL based on information below. So be sure to include shots in this VSL and only give me text for the script. I want the sales page to have a very strong attention grabbing headline. So insert sales page sequence here. Okay. Wait, did I take the wrong one? I'm pretty sure this could be wrong. Okay. Yeah, this is fine. So insert sales page sequence here. That's just actually, we can just use our actually offer here. So let's just paste our offer into here. Should be fine. Cool. Unique mechanism is, like we previously mentioned, the YouTube flywheel automation. The authority is authority story. Obviously we're using ourselves here, so let's just say, keeping it as simple as possible, 22-year-old entrepreneur got into the space about 2 years ago and now consistently doing $50,000 per month. Normal American upbringing, so we can actually relate to some people. And the product is, now he can say 1-to-1. Pretty sure we actually wrote this down somewhere. Did we? We can just take this. So 1-to-1 mentorship, including, yep. So let's make this sales page 2,000 plus words, easy to understand, massively persuasive, and use tons of, let's just say, easy words, because our audience is going to be a little bit younger. So easy words. We're just approaching an hour, and we're already at the VSL, which is good. If you need any inspiration on how to write this, use the following examples. Rush from not copy. We don't have any examples. So let's just delete that, and then we should be good. So let's just put that in and let it cook. How complete goodness, 3 to 8 game months. Cool. Just letting it cook right here. And then we can actually go to this. So here I'm going to be really straightforward with you. If you've been searching for a way to make real money but feel overwhelmed, or if you think about us out there, this might be the most important message you've ever read. My name is Name. I'm 22 years old, and just 2 years ago, it's exactly where you might be. Frustrated, confused, maybe even a little bit desperate to find something that actually works. Today I consistently bring in over $50,000 a month. So simple. I've helped complete beginners, people with zero experience, reach $58,000 a month in as little as 90 days. Let's get real for a second. Most make money online advice is complete garbage. They sell you systems or worse methods that are 5 years but are completely dead now. The internet's filled with people. And by the way, I'm just reading the free list. You should be reading the free list too. I'm just kind of like scattering through everything to make sure it's all good. I just see if there's any major changes that we need to make. The internet's filled with 2000. I discovered the hard way of it about 2 years ago. While determining different online business models I stumbled upon seemed too good to me. A method that consists of YouTube platform in a way nobody's talking about. Not the standard becoming a YouTuber advice you've heard a million times. This was different. I created a system. Flywheel. The first month I made 237. The next month 1.8. By month 4 over 7k. Today the exact same message consistently brings in $50,000 a month. Let me be crystal clear. Well, this is not. The YouTube firewall automation system works differently, sustainable. It's properly set up. By the way, guys, if this is too boring for you, you can just skip. You can skip this part of the video. I'm just making sure that all of this is good. And you guys can also be reading along. I don't know if you're just looking at me read through this. Cool. Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. Is this? No, this isn't the actual thing. So we can, do we have a copy? Yeah, we have the copy button right here. This is really good stuff. Now, obviously, again, like this isn't going to be perfect, but this is going to be better than 99% of people. And again, like AI is getting pretty good. So it's definitely going to be a really solid foundation for a lot of you guys. So I would definitely run this. Obviously, again, like there are definitely a few things that could be improved here, but keeping it very simple, I think that it's pretty decent. So yeah, definitely something that you could run, especially when you're first starting out. So this is going to be great. Cool. So once that this is completed, we have the VSL. We need to start building the actual landing page out. And let's actually just get into that. So for the landing page itself, we're just going to run a VSL funnel, and we're going to go into ClickFunnels and get loaded in. Cool. Now, what we actually want to do is we're going to go onto YouTube, and we're actually going to start looking at all of these guys' funnels. So obviously I saved this one from before just to get a little bit of inspiration on what the funnel itself could look like. So Daniel Bitten, he's also a fairly good example. He's not running a VSL funnel anymore, it looks like. Let's see anyone else. I know this guy runs a VSL funnel, or a really short VSL funnel at least.
Hey, my name is Blake Ryan, and at the age of 19, I've made over $2 million from content creation as a whole. And honestly, I never thought I'd be doing this, opening up a mentorship program. I've always been really against courses,
Okay.
as you know, most people...
How do I pause this? Just had to refresh the page. Cool. Let's see if anyone else that we can copy off of. 100% free YouTube course. Work with me one-on-one. Seems decent. We can keep this too. Who else can we see? Anyone getting recommended? Nope. Because we really want to find people posting real and authentic content. Like, it can't be anything too crazy. We can even go back here to the guys who we were seeing before, which we can't even see their names anymore, which isn't, I should have probably saved their names. That's a bit of a bummer, but we just crossed an hour, so it's good that we're at this point right now. But still, we can say with YouTube Shorts, just copy me. Cool. This guy, here we go. Let's see what his page looks like. Done for you. Yep, this is probably this Mr. Beast. Oh, this is cool. Okay, that's awesome. That is cool. Let's just see if we can find any other examples real quick, and then I think we should be good to actually start building. Whoa, I've never seen this. This is some very good stuff. This guy must have got 1.7 thousand signups at $37 a month. Well, let's actually run the numbers on that. That must be a decent amount, and he probably has a good backend offer as well. So times 1,700. Yeah, 62k MRR is insane. He's definitely doing six figures if he did high ticket though. Let's see, 17. Wait a minute. Why is this guy doing so well? Wow. Oh, I think he was the first guy to actually do this title over the One Faces channel, Just Copy Me. Okay, so he's went from like this really edited kind of content to more real authentic content. That is awesome. I think he's just the first guy to do it. Yeah, he's also doing edited content, so that wouldn't really match into our style. Like, it's a bit, yeah, it is a bit much. It is a bit too much, but obviously it's working. He's probably just the first guy to do it. Cool. Let's see if we can find anyone else before we actually get into it. Just real quick. Yeah, well, now I'm just looking for YouTube Shorts. One more thing. Here's how I made, say, YouTube Shorts. Just copy me. See if we can find anyone else. So I really want to make this as good as possible. We can go back. I know this guy's pretty good in the YouTube short space. I don't think he sells anything though. I remember checking a bit earlier. Yeah, he doesn't sell anything. Let me just refresh my page real quick to see if I can find anyone, because I've just been searching for these guys. Scaling channel. What's this? Nothing here. Nothing to be found. Cool. So we are going to be in an unsaturated niche, which that at least is a plus. Let's go through it one more time, and it doesn't look like anything else is coming up. So we can begin in ClickFunnels. We can go to funnels, and I'm just going to start one from complete scratch so you guys can replicate it. Cool. And we're going to be going for a video sales letter funnel. Video sales letter funnels, select. And then do we want to take a template? I suppose we could. Let me preview. We want to be doing this ourselves either ways, but I would probably, because the thing with these pages, you want to keep them very simple. So I'd probably prefer to keep this just from complete scratch. Let's see if there's an option, start from scratch. Speed running video example. Cool. Let's put that in, and then we're good to go. So this is complete scratch. Okay. Yeah, I've never started from this much scratch before. But yeah, let's just take this as an example, create page, and then we're going to be good. Edit. This see if we need to delete everything on this page. Yeah, we probably do. I like this though, so I'm gonna keep this. But everything else, I say we get rid of. I like the yeah, we probably need to get rid of a lot of the stuff, to be honest. First off, let me actually change the font here because I don't really like this font too much. I have my own font. It's called Alex's Funnel Prompts fonts. This is just something that I found while I was just browsing different fonts. But you can go and download these fonts as well if you just go into the internet. But obviously, it doesn't really matter what font you use. This is kind of just one of the fonts that I like. Exclusive report guide on topic. Yeah, this isn't too great. What I would do here, delete this. Honestly, delete this. Delete all of this. Powered by, yeah, obviously we're going to delete this. This is going to be replaced. This is going to be replaced. This, we need new text either ways. Add element, add headline, delete. And then this, is this already? Let's just make sure that all of them are in Alexis funnel prompt. Alexis funnel font update. Make sure that that was good. Perfect. Now let me just increase the size of this. This is a little bit big, but I think we should be fine for now. So in terms of the actual stuff, let me just go into Canva and let's actually build a logo. Cool. So let's see. In terms of actual logos, what font do I like? And it needs to match with YouTube automation as well. So what I'm definitely going to want to do is make it red. But I think I saw one before. Do I really like this one? This one's nice. This one's good and it's free, so everyone could use it, I guess. Cool. So what we're gonna do first step, the most important thing is YouTube Shorts logo. Go here. Color. Guess you could say picker. Cool. Taking this, putting this here. Can you just do it like that? Cool. Putting that in, changing the color on this, and then taking this and just adding that in here. See if can we just take it directly? Can we? Let's see. Nope. Cool. So let me just add that into here. Can I do that? Wait, I might just have to download the entire thing. Cool. Because I think I used to be able to do this, but yeah, that's fine. Put that into here. Change this background to white. And then actually get into our unique mechanism. This looks pretty good actually. So let me just go back to our unique mechanism, YouTube flywheel automations. So let's just say, oh wait, where do we, oh, I just deleted the entire thing. Okay. Cool. Flywheel automations. Let's see if this would look good. Doesn't need to be perfect, but I want it to at least look decent. This doesn't look that good, to be honest. I should just keep it simple. The fly wheel and the flywheel. This looks good, but we're gonna need it vertical. So let's just say YouTube banner. YouTube banner. And let's say it doesn't really matter which one we choose, to be honest. I just know this is a good size for logos. So let's just take this like this, take a white background, take everything we've got here, paste that into here, delete this, put this a little bit larger, and this is going to be good. This is going to be better than 99% of the stuff that we're going to see elsewhere. So let's just take this, download, and then I think we're good to go. Awesome. This looks good. It's just way too big. Go back into ClickFunnels, change the logo, and then we're chilling. See, YouTube. Yeah, this looks fine. Let's say image. No, we want to go image. Probably decrease this by a bit, and then we're good. Now let's look at what the competition is doing. The evergreen. I mean, this funnel isn't that good, to be honest. We are still gonna keep it. Now I'm playing some kind of game here. Let's go back. Blake Ryan 1 should be a decent example. Oh wait, look. Is this guy selling something? Yeah, this is just straight up not good. There's for so many reasons. But let's go back to Blake Ryan. Cool. For the first time ever, my mentorship is live. I don't really like that, to be honest. What I would say is for college kids, let's say, how could we frame this? I'd just say I'd say free training reviews. I'd probably make this bold, to be honest. And then we just want to start working with this. Exact. Free training reviews. How beginners are making 3 to 8K a month. Let's see how this guy's running it. How beginners are making 3 to 8K a month in 90 days. In their first 90 days using flywheel automations without any prior business experience. I could probably just leave it at that. Try and maybe make this smaller potentially. Maybe not smaller. We should make this bigger for sure if we have it that big already. Or free training videos, how beginners are. For some reason I don't like the way this looks. Let's just keep it at this for now. So let's highlight 3 to 8K a month. Put that in red. This looks like the same red. 3 to 8K a month. Highlight this as well. And then use 3 to 8K a month within 90 days using the YouTube flywheel automations. Cool. Highlight this as well. Although if we have double highlight, that doesn't look too good. So let's actually just remove this. Or I'll just fully have to delete this using this would look perfect if we only had this many words. How beginners are making in the first 90 days using the YouTube flywheel system. This looks good. We want to change it to this is good as well. I think I messed up the unique mechanism. YouTube flywheel. Oh, stay on page for sure. YouTube flywheel automations without any prior business experience. Free training reveals. Cool. Free training. Let's add this up a little bit higher. Make this a little bit bigger. This is a little bit small, to be honest with you. And then that looks fairly decent, to be honest with you. All right, cool. Anything we want to have in between? Cool. And then this is going to be good. Now what we want to do is we kind of want to fake them out. Now, obviously, I don't have a picture of myself, but let's take a picture of one of these guys actually breaking something down. So let's use this guy. Let's just use this guy as an example. Let's go through the ad. Let's see. Oh, another ad, double ads. It's crazy. Let's just go somewhere where he's actually showing something. Go here. Go onto Canva. YouTube. Video. We have the perfect size for YouTube video. Doesn't really matter what comes here. Removing all of this stuff. Going on to recent downloads. Taking him here. Cool. This is good stuff. Then potentially, if you want to, you can add some shade. I like adding shade, so let me just show you what that looks like. Here, you can just type in shade. You can also use this on the free version. I have the paid version, but just for everyone who wants to do this all for free. Cool. That may be a little bit too little, so let me just make it a lot bigger, but drag it a lot further down. Cool. This is wrong then. Put this like this. Oh, just open the second page right here just for this one specifically. But yeah, you want to flip this. I'm not too sure. I'm just on desktop right now, so I'm not really able to properly flip it how I'd want to. Oh yeah, here we go. Here it is. 90-degree angle, not too much. Not too much. I think this is a good amount of shade. And then click, because we want to kind of fake them out here. Video, play. Why is it not loading up? Yeah, I already have it here. Cool. So video play, and then obviously we want to keep it to the color of the funnel that we're running. So let's just go back onto ClickFunnels, paste our actual color back. Go here, make sure that it aligns. Cool. I think that this looks good. This looks good now. Looks fairly decent. So let me just download this and then add this in. Cool. Just waiting for it to download. It took a little bit long to download, to be honest with you. But yeah, now we're just going to take this, add element, go to image, upload image. For some reason, is it just not ready, or what is the reason? Oh, I see the issue. It's done in a video form. I've done this all wrong. That's fine. Okay, so what I should have done is YouTube thumbnail. Yep. This is I accidentally did it via video in the beginning, which is completely fine because I'm just gonna go over all of this. Boom. Wait, just make sure that this is dragged to the right size. Wait. Needs to be a little bit bigger than this. This is gonna be very good. Very good stuff. Let me just make sure that it is all straight and everything. But I'll do that right after we get this uploaded. So we got this. This goes up a little bit. Then obviously gonna want to copy and paste this. Make sure this is straight. Not showing too much. Not showing too much again. And then we have it on the top, but it is just showing too little on the top, I'd say. Cool. Let's add this in. Then we're pretty much good to go, I'd say. This looks good. So let's just download this. Make sure that's all good. Cool. Now we're going to go back onto ClickFunnels. Download the image. All good, all good. Here we go. Image has been successfully downloaded. I think this looks pretty good. In terms of a border, let's see what black would look like. This looks good. And then we can even add a element button. Or no, we can, but we need to. Cool. Has giving me a little bit of a weird shape, which is fine. I don't really like the weird shape, to be honest with you, though. Yeah, it's using two different colors, which I really don't like. See if I just put them both into one, it's fine. So click here to sign up. Get access. Padding slides. We can make this. I mean, the main thing is the actual font size, right? So making sure that that's big enough. Font size. Padding verticals, making sure that she looks clean. Get access. I think this is a little bit big. Okay, let's see what this would look like. So if we were to just go onto this page, yeah, I don't like this page at all. For some reason, it just doesn't look clean to me. Let's go on to a page I know for sure has an option. So let me actually, because I remember I set it up pretty nicely. Or this is one of the guys that I've seen use this pretty well. So, oh no, not yet. I think the way that this does actually, for some reason, this is okay. So let's actually just start with some simple changes. First, I can definitely drag this to the top. That could make it look cleaner. Maybe it is also just the border. Me not really liking the way that the border looks. I just feel like something's missing. For some reason. Let's just test what this would look like. Maybe highlight a little bit more text. Maybe highlight automations as well. Boom. Cool. Automations, and I think this looks good. Cool. So obviously nothing happens when that gets triggered. We need to set up the pop-up. So with the pop-up, we're going to say the exact same stuff. One column, and then we're going to have a headline. Let's say get access, get instant access to the free training, and then we can add something subheadline. See if we can make this a little bit bigger. Say no degree, no certificates, just a simple system that works. Maybe I have to decrease the size of this. L, adding the size of this, making sure this goes up. Cool. This is good enough. And then adding a actual, we actually need to add things. So what do we need? We need the email. Let me see if I can set it up like this. Okay. Let's see. Input, because I know a lot of people like to just have it here, which this is something that we can also do. So first input, we need first name, second input, email address, and then third input, the phone number itself. And then we're going to have the button that actually makes sure that this will get submitted. And then going over the style, sorry, not the style, just for this page specifically. So let's just drag this with each other again. Make sure that the colors are aligned. Make sure that it's aligned with the actual page. Get access. And then let's see what this looks like. So this, I'd say, definitely also needs some work. Obviously, if I had, I don't know, 2 hours, I could be a perfectionist and make this really look good. I just want to give you guys the fundamentals here of what you need to do. So yeah, this would be good. Making sure that this is connected. So once they click on it, where's that feature? Open pop-up, perfect. And then here, the exact same thing. So after that, open pop-up. Let's go here, make sure that all of that's working. Opens pop-up, get instant access to free training, no degree, cool. And then maybe one more thing that I would change here would be, I mean, I just don't really like, it's a little bit more in my eyes, but yeah, this is good. This is good stuff. How beginners are making 38K a month in the first 90 days using the YouTube automation system. This is good stuff. The only thing that I would say is, actually, now that I'm looking at it, with this funnel specifically, I don't like the shade. Sometimes the shade looks good, sometimes it just doesn't. But I'm not going to try and force it. So to be honest, I don't like the red color. I don't like the background on this video to begin with. So let's actually find something else, which is a little bit better. Because I actually want this to look good and give you guys a good example here. So let's just go into here, see if I can find something nice. Maybe, yeah, this is good stuff. Very good stuff. I guess he's got a video editor, but this is very, very good stuff. Add this in. Copy and paste this on top. Yeah, this looks a lot cleaner, especially with the white background on ChatGPT. This is looking very good. Cool. Take this as the pop-up page. Go to ClickFunnels. Set this up. Cool. Yup, this is good. And I think a border would look good here as well. I think this is pretty good. Very large improvement since about 15 minutes ago. How beginners are making 3D8K a month in their first 90 days using the YouTube automation, using the YouTube flywheel automations. That grammatically doesn't make sense. Using in the first 90 days, using the YouTube flywheel automation system without any prior business experience. That unique mechanism may be a little bit long, but I really want to get my point across here. So beginners are making 3D8K a month in the first 90 days using YouTube automation. Cool. And then let's bring, so let's just delete these example pages. Let's bring this up because obviously we're going to need this to get ATP. Actually, we can even keep this a little bit down. And then my company, what are we calling this? The flywheel. The flywheel LLC, all rights reserved, terms and condition, privacy policy, disclaimer. Looks good. Okay, I'm happy with this first page here. This first page is gonna, I mean, I made this pretty quickly. I could make this look a lot better, but obviously I just want to get my point across, so this should be fine. And then also what we can maybe try and play around with is not having this fully black, but a little bit like this. A little bit gray. I know that looks good sometimes. Yep, this is good. So I would honestly just take this and work with this. Cool. So now we need, I don't want to we need to create a copy of this. So clone page. And now we actually need to do the new page where we're actually giving the actual information out. So first off, free training. Watch free training below. And then watch free training below. And then we're going to have, instead of get access now, actually going to have, let's just take this, take a sub headline or a full head. Wait, what we could also try and do here, I don't want to overcomplicate it too much, but we could take, for some reason, ClickFunnels is weird with this stuff. It doesn't want me to, okay. Step 1 from 2, so we're going to use one of these step funnels, is watch free training below. Cool. And then step 2 from 2 would be booking in the calendar. So step 2 of 2, book your one-to-one transition call with me. Making sure that's wide apart. And obviously this would need to be changed. So what I like to do here is we can use an app called VTurb. Now this is just one of the accounts that I have, but we don't have a specific video, so I can literally just take my own video, my own current video, and we can slightly tweak this. I know that's a little bit weird in terms of the actual tweaks. Actually, no, this isn't going to work. But the way that we're going to do it, because this is going to ruin my own VSL page. So the way that we're just going to do it, I'm just going to keep it like this, but you guys know what you guys need to do. You just need to go into styles and change the color if you want to do it for yourself. But the way that this is going to be with VTab is you're going to want to go to embed, HTML. And then with HTML, when you click on HTML, put this in like this, then this is going to be ready right here. And then when we go in for the second step, actually that's even, we can probably mark this red. That should be fine. So step 1 from 2, and then step 2 of 2 would just be looking like this. So very simple stuff. And then this is also going to be the exact same thing with step 2 of 2. We're going to need this from Calendly. So in terms of Calendly, I mean, I don't want to ruin my own Calendly here, to be honest. I want to keep it pretty simple, so I don't want to change the color either. But let's just take my thing here. You want to click on share, add to website, inline, continue. Actually, I can change it with this example here specifically. So just to make everything on theme. Wait, need to get the color again. Make everything look good. Hide event details. No, hide cookie partner. And then we are good to go. So gonna paste this in instead of the V tab because I just made a copy. Cool. Close this off. And obviously this is my V tab, so it's gonna be whatever. And then we have this. So what we can actually do here, because obviously this isn't gonna be as smooth as we'd want it to be, is we can go into here and then we should look at stretch. So Calendly invite data. Why do we have the stretch? Width, we should probably change this to 500 pixels and see what that looks like. .500 pixel width. Sorry, not the width isn't the problem. This is the problem. So 1000 pixel height. And it's definitely better. I think it needs to be even higher than that, which is kind of crazy. Just for a page like this, let's say, okay, so let's take a proper long width. Let's say 700 width, 1200 pixel height, just to make sure. And we are good to go here. So what we're maybe gonna want to do, because obviously now it's kind of stretching in, but let's put this above, make sure that that still looks fine. And this is all good. We're all good to go here. So before I have the video here, this is gonna be me. So I like VTub just because initially, let me just open this up on my Google Chrome so you guys see the entire thing. It's going to look like this on Google Chrome. So if we actually take like a full new browser, this is what the entire funnel looks like. So the flywheel, watch retraining, how beginners making 38K a month in their first 90 days using the YouTube flywheel automation system without any prior experience. Step 1 of 2, watch retraining. Then I like this thing that comes up. So very simple stuff. Let me actually increase the width of this right here. Should be inside of here. So height, width. Let's see what would happen if we go with 130%. Just play around with this. Refresh the website, and it's already looking better. So this is something that I'd be fairly happy with in terms of a landing page. Isn't going to be the craziest landing page, but it is definitely going to get the job done. And again, like I made this in like 20 minutes. Like I really didn't spend too much time on this. Could be a lot better, but it is going to set a really good foundation on what you need to do. And it's going to give you a good idea. So just to get back to it, the way that's going to work, I don't want to connect all the automations here, but the first page is going to look like this. The flywheel, free trading reveals how beginners are making 3D8K a month in their first 90 days using the YouTube flywheel automation system without any prior business experience. They're going to click on this, they're going to get this, and if they click on this, they're going to get the exact same thing. When they fill out all of their information and put all of this into here, then it's going to go to the next page. And the next page is going to be the exact same stuff. So watch free trading below how beginners are making 3D8K a month in their first 90 days using the YouTube flywheel automation system without any prior business experience. Step 1 of 2, watch free trading. Obviously, I don't want to change my VSL's one, but this would be red. And then step 2 of 2, book your transition call with me. And then, you can also add some more stuff here. And then at the bottom, people usually add some testimonials. Now, this isn't going to be completely optimized. I can make it look a lot better than this, like I've done many times, but I just don't have enough time in this video. So that should set a really good foundation in terms of what we need there. Let me actually take a screenshot so that I have this when I'm doing the recap at the end. So this, let's just take this right here. Let me take myself out of the picture. Take the screenshot for Myro. Page 1, and then page 2. In this video, I'm going to be speaking. Okay. Just take this right here. Cool. So we got this right here. Make this a little bit smaller. Funnel plus VSL. Actually, let me just say VSL funnel creation. Cool. And then I'm going to have this page right here showcasing what I do, having the opt-in so that obviously we can run email marketing and have a dialer on the back end, calling everybody up. And then this is what that would kind of look like. So that'd be fairly simple stuff. And then we'd move on to the next step. By the way, if you guys have any questions about the stuff, DM me on Instagram. I'm also going to link that in the description. Cool. So the next step after this is preparing for the launch. Now, in terms of launch strategy, I really like this launch strategy right here. I'm just going to completely copy this. So let me just take this. And by the way, I created this too. So it's not just some kind of random thing out of the internet, but this is literally the most, or one of the most optimized launch strategies, which I've seen a lot of people use. So let me just paste that into here as well. Take a different font, launch strategy, make this, I don't know what color, turquoise, I guess you could make it turquoise, and then putting this into here. So the way that this launch strategy works is actually very simple. We have the pre-launch and we have the launch itself. And let me actually get my marker out to show you. So on day 1, it's going to be very simple. And this, by the way, only do this if you have an Instagram and YouTube audience. So on day 1, Instagram reel, and then here you could put the Instagram reel script, change all your YouTube descriptions, Discord and school if you already have this announcement, and a story sequence which would kind of look like this. But I'm going to get into that at the end. And then all of this would be going to an email list. Then day 2 to 5, kind of the same stuff. So daily stories, 2 lifestyle stories per day, 1 educational story per day, and then daily educational reels, then daily educational emails, daily reminders to read emails in the Discord, and all of this would go to the email list. Then when we're launching up, we have a very strong and warm email list, and obviously you want to run daily emails inside of the actual email list itself, which is kind of obvious. But I stated this here as well. Just wanted to, in case any of you guys missed that. So launch strategy. On day 1, we're going to have the power offer. So Instagram story sequence, Discord and school power offer announcement, YouTube video, which is going to be an undercover VSL, Instagram power offer reveal, and then we're going to have the dialer booking the appointments, pretty much calling everybody up because we're not just asking for the email, we're asking for the name, email address, and phone number, and all of this goes into our funnel. And then between day 2 and 4, we're just going to be running the power offer. So the Instagram story sequence, Discord school, power offer announcement, Instagram power offer reels, and then we're going to have the dialer booking appointments in. So this is fairly simple, really simple launch strategy. You don't want to overcomplicate it when it comes to launches. All that you want to get is proof of concept, and especially in the beginning, you just want to get good results for your current students. So this is extremely simple. Then the next thing is the sales process, which is actually the fun part. So let me put this into here. Sales process. Cool. So in terms of the actual sales process itself, I'm just noticing that my loom's about to end. So it's capped at an hour or something. So I'm just going to start a brand new one and I'll get back to you guys in a sec. So in terms of sales process itself, there's only a few things that we really need to understand. First, we need to build a sales team. So let me just copy this text from here so we can keep everything organized. Paste this into here. And then we're just going to say sales team. Now, who and what does a sales team consist of? Well, usually you have 3 people inside of the sales team. So you have the closer, then you have the setter, you have the dialer, and then somebody needs to manage these people, and this somebody is usually called a sales manager. Cool. So let's just drag this down, get our black pen out, sales manager, closer, setter, dialer. Okay. But now you're like, okay, cool. You just kind of threw these buzzwords around. What do these people actually do? Okay, well, the closer is the guy who gets onto the calls and closes the calls that get booked in, right? So if someone messages asking to book a call, or people just book directly on this website, you know how we had here, step 2, book your one-to-one transition call with me. That's where they could book that call. So that would be that. Let me just drag that down. And then setter would be the person inside of the messages. So that'd be, or if you want to keep that, the full thing would be called an appointment setter. So would be inside of the DMs. The easiest way to explain this is sometimes you see people saying like, DM me the word X to get the resource. And when you DM them that, you're having a conversation with someone. And obviously it's not going to be the creator themselves because they don't have the time to, spend all day responding to messages, which is why we're just going to have the appointments that are there. And then we have the dialer. So here inside of this opt-in, remember how we were asking for 3 things. So what we were asking for when I was creating that was 1, the name. 2, we were asking for the phone number. And 3, we were doing email marketing. We were asking for the email so we could do email marketing. And then the phone number, we need to actually use this phone number, right? So somebody needs to be taking advantage of this phone number so that we can be as lead efficient as possible. So what the dialer is doing is he's pretty much the same thing as a setter, but instead of being inside of DMs, he calls people up. But don't get the closer and the dialer confused. The difference between the closer and the dialer is that the closer is just taking qualified calls, and then the dialer is just calling all of the leads up, just like the appointment setter. So in terms of the actual pay for these people, it's going to vary. So let me just make these arrows here again. Cool. So actually, I'm just going to have 2 hours going to the same thing. So the setter and dialer, and by the way, guys, you can decide if they get a base pay or not. I wouldn't recommend that, but I would recommend things to incentivize them. For example, if they hit KPIs, so if they book a certain amount of calls, or if a closer collects a certain amount of cash, they get rewarded with this as a bonus. But the general rule of thumb is that the setters and the dialers get 5% of the deal, and the closer gets 10% of the deal. Let me just put that in. 10% of the deal. Cool. So fairly simple stuff. You don't need to overcomplicate this. Let me just make this green in terms of base pay. And then obviously what I would really recommend doing based on, the standard of the offer is figuring out what a good milestone would be to incentivize them with a bonus. And you could also add a base pay. Cool. Now, in terms of actual sales process itself, obviously now we have the sales team. And by the way, with the sales manager, his role and the way that I would do it is usually the sales manager, depending on how big the offer is they get a base pay, which is usually gonna be between $1,000 to $3,000, depending on how big the offer is. And then they're getting a percentage of the entire offer, so not just the deals that they close, but the entire offer. And this is between 1.5 and 3%. Now, I know some people who have a little bit higher than that, but at that point, it just doesn't even really make sense. But again, this does depend on how big the offer is. Cool. So once that we have this out of the way, I want to speak about the reminders and more so sales process and not just sales team. So I actually have some really good examples here, which I just want to, straight up copy. So let me just get this here, copy and paste this so I can just break this down while I'm actually kind of going at it. Oh, let me remove this, add it back so I can get the entire thing to make it smaller. Cool. Let me just make this smaller again. And let's keep this simple. So in terms of sales process itself, well, now it looks kind of tiny, but at this point they scheduled the sales call, but they might not be ready for it yet. So what are we going to do to make sure that they show up to the call and they show up as warm as possible? Well, manually we can have the seller qualifying the prospect over the phone call, and then we can also have them sending them the VSL in the DMs or over WhatsApp, just to make sure that they actually watch it. Then 3 hours before the call, we're going to have the first meeting reminder. Second meeting reminder would be 1 hour before the call. Third meeting reminder, 15 minutes before the call. And then 5 minutes before the call, send them the link via DM or WhatsApp. And this would just be the manual ones. Then we have the automated ones as well. So then after they book in the call, they're automatically going to get redirected to the pre-call sales assets. They get an email with a confirmation and a time, location, and link to the sale assets. Then 48 hours before the call, they're going to get a mail reminder and testimonial plus text reminder. 24 hours before the call, they're getting a mail reminder and testimonial plus text reminder. 12 hours before the call, they're getting a mail reminder and testimonial plus text reminder. 6 hours before the call, mail reminder and testimonial plus text reminder. And then 1 hour before the call, mail and text reminder. 15 minutes before the call, mail and text reminder. And then right before the call, they're getting the email with the link to the call. Now, this is a little bit much, to be honest with you guys. You don't want to go over 4 reminders. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This would be a little bit too much. What you could also do is just completely remove the 48-hour one. It just depends on the audience and the market research that you do. So 48-hour one, you could remove depending on the audience. And then you could also remove the 12-hour one. And then what I would recommend is just removing the 12-hour one and the 48-hour one. And then you're pretty much good. Obviously, you can't get this many text reminders too. The only issue is that sometimes they just get a little bit annoyed that, they're getting so many reminders. Cool. But what about if they give you the info and they don't show up to the call? Well, then we're going to have manual actions. We're just going to have the dialer calling them up. And if they don't respond, then we're going to text them. We're going to dial them again, text them, and we're going to repeat this process 4 times over 4 days. Then automated actions. We're going to put them into an email sequence. We're going to have a value email, a call to action email, a testimonial email, a call to action email, transformation email, and a CTA email. And this is all going over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different days. So we don't do it all in one day. I just realized the timer isn't on, but we did waste a little bit of time before. So let's just keep the timer rolling. But yeah, that would be fairly simple, and we really just don't need to overcomplicate it here. We just need to keep it very, very simple. Cool. So once this is out of the way, the last thing that I want to touch on is this thing right here, which I'm just going to copy and paste back into here. So let's put this here. One of the most important things about this entire process is that we're actually tracking every single metric inside of the businesses. And this is one of the most important things. And I'll tell you why. For example, when you track all of your metrics, you know exactly what you need to improve on. So for example, if you're tracking the closing rate, and the closing rate's bad, then obviously you need to work on the closing rate. You'd only know that if you knew the closing rate. If you see the people who are showing up to the call, there's not that many people showing up to the call, maybe you need to work on this process right here. If you see that you have a lot of broke leads coming in, maybe there's something you need to change in the marketing. If you see that the cash collected to revenues pretty high, a pretty big difference, and you're not getting a big average order value, then you need to work on the way you're selling it and the way that you're actually packaging it to them on the call, right? So it's little things, but little things add up extremely quickly. And once you can do this over a long enough period of time, these things are really just going to compound onto each other, and it's going to make a massive difference. Cool. So once the sales process is dialed in, I'm just going to do onboarding process and fulfillment in one. So let me just copy this so that you guys have a really good onboarding and fulfillment system. Cool. And let me just actually make this. I don't want to make it dark blue again. I don't want to make it cyan again. I'm using all the different colors. Let me just do a little bit of light pink. Cool. So in terms of onboarding process, we can take this one from here again. I did spend some time. I made these specifically for this video, but obviously I wanted this to be a little bit more of an actionable video. So I'm just, taking these and taking the most important things. So once the call gets closed, once someone gets closed on a call, and close isn't when they say yes, a close is when you see the payment inside of your payment processor. You're manually going to send them the first message to confirm the first call with use of the onboarding call, and then you're going to set everything up plus schedule the second call on the onboarding call, and that's going to be 1 to 2 days from the close. Then in terms of automated actions, they're automatically going to get an onboarding email with a video explaining the entire community, how it works, and breaking down the setup that you have, and then obviously sending them the link to the first onboarding call again. And then after the first call, they're going to get access to the community course, inner circle, whatever you want to call it. But you can also just give them access to this straight away. So usually you want to keep the onboarding process pretty simple. Don't overcomplicate it, and just, you really don't need to overcomplicate these kinds of things. And in terms of the actual fulfillment, a lot of people don't like to go deep on this. They don't like to have a good fulfillment system, but I pretty heavily disagree with that. So in my opinion, the more results, the more case studies you can build up, and the more trust you can build up equals, the more money that you're obviously going to make. So what I would do is, this is mainly for just having an overview of the progress of everyone, knowing the success rate, seeing what's working, understanding everybody, and always being updated on everybody's overall journey. So what you can do, and I'm just going to paste this in, is having a client CRM. And this is just a template that I found on the internet here, but you guys should create your own on Notion specifically for your needs. So for example, here we see Yusuf, relations, client payment, monthly payment. What is, let's say if they have a rev share, fine, we can take a rev share. I don't know, that'd be a really specific offer there, but we could also just see all of the installments and keep track of, first off, if they're paying in multiple installments, keeping track of when the next payment is, and then also keeping track of the progress. So you can have a progress bar, you can have amount of calls that you've had with that person, you can have amount of check-ins that you've made with that person, and just keeping track of everything and making sure that everybody's getting the same level of support. And then obviously you're also going to see like, oh, maybe I'm doing a lot less calls than I thought I was doing, and I need to get a lot more active in the community. Or, oh, like I'm doing a lot more than I should be doing. Maybe I can allocate more time towards posting more content, right? So you really don't want to overcomplicate this process. And then obviously the last step of the process, which is actually scaling with ads. And in terms of scaling with ads, it is simple stuff. But again, for most of you guys who are just, starting out with this, don't worry too much about ads until you collect your first 20, 30K. But I still want to give a little bit of a brief overview. So let me just put here. The number one thing that you want to do before you start scaling with ads, and let me just make this look good and everything, is you need to have two things. Proof of concept, which would be collecting cash, and at least 20 to 30K cash collected with the existing offer. And the reason for the proof of concept and the initial cash is because then you already know what angles are going to work. You already know what works. You already know how to sell the offer. You already probably have a decent VSL, and then you can funnel this into ads as well. Now, I have a pretty good trading that I put onto ads in the past. Let me just get onto it. So where did I hide this? Cool. This is right here. So let me just actually copy and paste this so that you guys can see what the ad scaling process looks like. This is going to be a very good video of me just pretty much like a summary of everything that I've ever done in terms of funnel breakdowns. But yeah, let me put this a little bit closer, add this high to the top. Actually, this looks a little bit way too small. Let me just break it down here and then I'll add it into the Miro board later. So first, research and strategy development. You wanna, and this is what you need to do when you actually want to build some ads that you want to get profitable. So first, you need to analyze your competitors, define target audience, explain the ad strategy. Then you need to build the funnel out. So you need to map the funnel out on Miro, landing page development, and email sequence setup. Then you need to script the ads themselves and script the VSL. After that, you need to set up all of the tracking links, set up the Facebook ad account, duplicate the tracking sheets, create the lead magnet and the CRM, and then launch and optimize. So you're going to launch the campaign, monitor it on a daily basis, and optimize it pretty regularly, and retargeting campaign setup. And then the last thing is reporting and scaling. So weekly and monthly reports, scaling campaigns, and scaling campaigns, which is the main thing right here. So that should give you a good overview. But if you need help with this specifically, you can also just let me know on Instagram. And if you want a much deeper, video going in the actual process of ads and how we're getting ads profitable for most of our clients, then you can also book, or not book, but just let me know on Instagram and I'll do that for you guys too. But I hope this video was helpful for you guys. It's coming up to 2 hours. I did miss a little bit, so it is probably a little bit over 2 hours. But that's all good. I hope this was valuable to a lot of you. And if you have any questions about anything that I talked about, then you can message me on Instagram. And if you don't have enough time to do all of this and implement this for yourself, then you could book a call with me. First link in the description. But I want to keep it very clear who I can help. We can actually go to my page right here. So the way that you're going to book the call is you're going to go to my YouTube account. So you're just going to go to any of my videos. I have the same description everywhere. Let's say, for example, this video right here. Go to this link right here. Watch my explainer video to see exactly who I can help. Click this button right here and you can book a call with me. I want to keep it very clear. I can only help coaches who want to scale to $100,000 a month and beyond with an existing audience, and people earning $15,000 a month and beyond with no audience yet but have a good idea for a coaching business and need help building the audience and scaling the offer later on as well. So I hope this video was valuable. Again, DMs on Instagram and book a call with me here. Peace.